physical devices, that is a physical layer devices. One we call it as a Bluetooth. So this Bluetooth, it has been designed for short distance communication. Okay, so it has been designed by the project called as Ericsson company. So this Bluetooth technology, it mainly works in two important architecture. One architecture we call it as a Piconet architecture, and one more we call it as a scattered net. Okay, and this Bluetooth technology, which works for the smaller distance communication, and we can have a maximum of 10 devices can be communicated at a stretch, or it can be connected at a stretch, and it works upon based upon the IEEE protocol called as a IEEE 802.15 standard. You please make a note of this. So this Bluetooth will work for the IEEE standard protocol. That is nothing but it has been implemented with the IEEE standard protocol called as a IEEE 802.15. So in sometimes in the competitive examinations, they will be asking you, or they will be calling you this protocol. Okay, and in gate examinations also it has been asked in most cases. Okay, so generally this Bluetooth, it works upon in the physical layer only. So how we can have a data transmission in the physical layers, and what are the different architectures we can create in this Bluetooth will be depicted in the two forms. One we call it as a Pico network, and one more we call it as a scattered network. So what is the difference between this Pico network and scattered network can be listed over here. Okay, so if the Bluetooth network, or if you have a very small network, means then it is called as a Pico network. So in the Pico network, the maximum number of stations which can communicate or which can frame a network, it is being restricted to 8 stations only. So among these 8 stations, so one station will be primary, and the remaining 7 station we call it as a secondary devices. Okay, and all the secondary devices will be synchronous with the primary devices with a clocking mechanism. So we will be using a synchronization mechanism, that is we will be using a Manchester coding. So with the use of this Manchester coding, we can able to have a proper synchronization with the primary devices. Okay, and if there are more than 7 secondaries are there, only 7 will be active state, and the remaining will be in a parked state, or we call it as in a idle state. Okay, so let's say you can call me sir, if only 7 devices are there, more than 7 devices are there, means whether the network will be vanishes, or it will be it will be detached from the network. No, it will not be detached. It will check how many active networks are there, or how many active device data communication is taking place. Only those 7 devices will be active, whereas the remaining devices will be in a idle state. Okay, so you can see the Piconet diagram, how it has been created. So you have one primary devices, and all these devices are connected in a wireless only, because we are talking about a IEEE 802.11. Under this IEEE 802.11, we have created one special that is a device called as a Bluetooth. It is specifically works for the lower range of data transmission. So maximum, let's say it is 50 meters. Maximum it is 50 meters. Okay, so because of the advanced technology, this Bluetooth device can be extended to 100 meters also. Okay, so the circuit diagram you can see here, that is a diagram you can see here how it has been depicted. So one primary devices we have, and the remaining all we call it as a secondary devices. So any communication has to be takes place, means then the communications will be governed by the primary devices also, primary device only. See, whatever the data communication, it has to be done, it has to done from the primary device itself only, not from the secondary devices. So if over 2 secondary devices want to have a communication, means then it has to be done under the provision of the primary device itself. Okay, so this is how you can create a Piconet, and this is the details which is regarding about a Pico network. So, okay, so the next one we call it as a scattered network. So this scattered network, it is nothing but it is an extension of the primary network. We call it as a Pico network. We call it as a scattered network. So this we call it as a Bluetooth layer. It is also called as a Bluetooth protocol stack. It is called as a Bluetooth protocol stack. So what are the components of this Bluetooth protocol stack? It has been depicted in the layer. You can see here it has a radio layer. it has a baseband layer, it has an application layer, it has a profiles, it has a control and audio, and finally the data. See, whatever the data you want to transmit from one Bluetooth device to another Bluetooth device, it has to be encapsulated in this manner. Then what is the use of this radio layer, you can ask. So the applications or the features of this radio layer is that it is responsible to have a connection from one device to another device. So means what? Whatever the physical connection has to be necessary, or whatever the connection it has to be incorporated from one wireless device to another wireless device. So those functionalities will be done by the radio layer. And I told you in the Bluetooth layer, we will be not using any modulation schemes. So if I want to have a data transmission means, so since the Bluetooth will works for the short range of data communication, so if I want to have a data transmission, whatever the data it has been generated from the devices, directly I will be transmitting. I will not use a modulation scheme to data transfer. Why? Because since the distance is very small in the case of Bluetooth technology, so therefore whatever the data is generated, for that data I can do the amplification and I can transmit the data. So means we will be not having any modulation scheme. So therefore what we need to do is we need to have a special provisions. We need to have a special provisions for data transmissions. We need to have a special provision for the data transmission. So that will be governed by the baseband layer. So this baseband layer, what it does is, so how data will be created, so that the data, whatever it has been created, that has to be transmitted from one device to another device with a conversion, that is a logical zeros and the binary ones has to be converted into a signaling mechanisms. And what is the power level of those signaling mechanisms will be done by this baseband layer. The one more layer what we have, this layer, it is very important layer in the Bluetooth protocol stack. Then that layer we call it as a logical link control layer, or it is also called as a L2 cap layer. That is nothing but logical link control and adaptive protocol. So this logical link control and adaptive protocol is responsible for interface of your data with the baseband layer. So because baseband layer, it is mainly works upon the signaling mechanism. So whatever the data it has been received from the user, it has to be framed, or it has to be represented, or it has to be structured, so that the baseband layer will convert this stream of bits into signaling mechanism. So those features, that is nothing but conversion of binary values into baseband layers. So we call it as a means that will be done by this L2 cap layer. So now in this logical link control or adaptive protocol, what it does is, so whatever the data it has been given by the user, it will structure or it will frame it in such a way that it can be possible for us to have a flow control and a error control in even in the Bluetooth protocol stack. The next we call it as a data. So data is nothing but the user raw data, what it has to be transmitted from one Bluetooth devices to another Bluetooth devices. The next one we call it as a profiles. So profiles is nothing but, since the application data, it may be text data, it may be video data, or it may be an audio data. So for these each different data or these different type of applications, we need to frame the format, or we need to frame the profile, or we need to create a profile. So that will be done by this profile layer, or we call it as a profile subsystem, will be done in the Bluetooth technology. Okay, so what it does is, depending upon the data what the user is having, so based upon that it will create a profile. So profiles will act upon the application layer. So the application layer will display the data which has been given by the profile. Okay, so depending upon the data what we need to transmit, so I need to structure them, or I need to frame them in such a that which can be transmitted or it can be visible successfully in the application layer. So the formatting of the data has to be done, and that will be done in the profile layer. And the next one we call it as an applications layer. So the application layer where the user will interact with one device to another device. So let's say I want to transmit the data, means what I will be doing is I will be opening my Bluetooth icon. So once I open a Bluetooth icon, now what it allows, so it will allow me to transfer the data. How? So you can select audio, or you can select a text file, or you can select a video. So that where the user will interact with the Bluetooth device. No, so that mechanism or that layer we call it as a application layer. So in order to govern all this, we have two more fields in the Bluetooth protocol stack. One we call it as a control and one more we call it as a audio. So this control and stack will responsible for successful data transmission from one device to another device. So these controlling mechanisms will have a control on how the data will be transmitted. So if the rate of errors are more in the data transmission means, then it will try to reduce the transmission rate. And this audio is also used in order to synchronize the, if you want to transmit the audio signal means, then you need to have a synchronization of the data and you need to set some delay for data transmission. So that will be set by the audio subsystem. Okay, so these are the layering architectures what we will be using in the Bluetooth layers, and this we call it as a protocol stack, Bluetooth protocol stack. Okay. Okay, so as I said, the functions of this L2 cap layer, it is multiplexing, segmentation and reassembly, quality of service and group management. Okay, so these are the functions which will be carried out by this L2 cap layer. Okay, and the functions of this baseband layer, it has been listed over here is, so as I told you, so the equivalent of MAC sub layer in the LAN. So the accessing mechanism what we will be using is, we will be using a TDMA, and the communication will happens between the time slots between the primary device and the secondary devices. Okay, so the communication is only between primary and secondary devices, and the secondary devices we cannot communicate directly with each other. Okay, a single communication. So how the communication will takes place between the primary devices and the secondary devices, it has been listed over here. So you can see for the primary devices we will be giving a even numbered time slot, and for the secondary devices we will be giving a odd number. Now how the multiple secondary communications will takes place from one device to or secondary devices, it has been depicted over here is, so you can see for the first hop the primary device will be communicating, at the second half the secondary device will be communicating again in the next even time slot. So the primary will be communicating, and again in the next time slot the secondary one more device will be communicating. Okay, so this is how the multiple secondary communications will takes place in the Bluetooth technology. Okay, so the two types of links will be established generally in the primary and secondary devices. Okay, so based upon them we will be measuring two important parameters. One we call it as a delay and error free transmission. So in that it works upon based upon the synchronous connection oriented link. So in this synchronous connection oriented link, it provides a less delay. Why? Because since the devices are synchronized, so there is no any necessary for us to have a external signals has to be transmitted for the data transmission, and it does not give a guarantee for retransmission of the demanded damaged packets. Okay, so why? Because it does not give a guarantee, because it does not does any error control mechanisms. So therefore it does not provide any guarantee for the retransmitted signals. Okay, and the physical connections will be established based upon this in synchronous connection oriented links between the primary and secondary devices, and this synchronous connection oriented links, it is used for audio applications. Okay, so the next one is asynchronous connection oriented link. So in the asynchronous oriented links, the delay is not considered seriously. Why? Because we will be transmitting the text information in the asynchronous connection oriented link. Okay, and it will be used when the error free transmission is more important. It will be used when error free transmission is more important. We will be using this asynchronous connection oriented link. Okay, and it can use a maximum of 5 time slots frames. It can go for 1 and it can go for 3 also, and you can see here 1 time slots it corresponds to so how many bits? It corresponds to 366 bits it corresponds. So means what? In a single time slot it can transmit a maximum of 366 bits, and in the 3 time slots it can transmit a maximum of 1616 bits, and in the 5 time slot it can transmit a maximum of